Hi children, I hope you are all well and just going through a very good time, taking rest and also their studies. Let us study today the class 6 science. The class 6 science chapter is sorting materials into groups. Sorting materials into groups. That means arranging materials into groups. That is there. Well, to introduce, we can say objects around us. You see, look at your home. There are several objects surrounding at your home or arranged in some places. Are those objects all alike? I don't think so. They are not all alike. There is a difference between the objects, various objects are there. So, there is a difference of various objects are there and that we have to find out and group them. Alright. Now, you see a cow which is walking. It's not as simple as a piece of stone is lying on the ground. On the other hand, a plant laden with flowers and fruits are not as simple as the cow and as well as the piece of stone or brick, whatever it is calling there. Alright, let us see why should we classify? What is the requirement of classification? We have to sort the materials and classify them. But why should we do that? Let them as it is there, let them be as it is there. We don't care whether they are, scattering over here and there and all those. No, my dear children, there is a need for classification. Why? Because there are plenty of objects on the surface of the earth. We cannot count them, numerous objects. And these objects are to classify properly. If we classify properly, then we can study them very, very easily. Otherwise, they will be jumbled together and we will not be able to find the way to classify them. Alright? Now let's see what is the basis of classification. Now when we classify, what do we see for the classification? What are the actual factors on which we classify? Well children, there are two factors. One is the similarities. As for example, we are human beings. So, in the human beings, we have several types of races and all those are there. So, there is a special characteristic for that. Some people are completely white skin, some people are dark skin. So, like that, there is a special characteristic for that. If we go for the plants, then we can also observe the plants bear the fruits. Now mango fruit is not like banana. Okay? Mango is not like banana. So like that, coconut is another fruit which easily can be detected. So like that, we have two basic characteristics. One is the similarities, the other one is the differences. So on the basis of the similarities and the differences, we classify them. So what are they? They are the similarities and differences. Now, actually, the total organisms are being classified into two main groups. They are being classified into two main groups. One is the living, another is non-living. So, living objects and non-living objects. Now, my dear children, there is a third group is also there. And this third group, though it is not a group, but it is a subgroup which is known as the dead object. So, living object, non-living object, and we have a dead object. Now, living object, those who have the life. That you know what are the characteristics of a living object. There may be movement, not the movement that by pushing something, moving forward. A piece of stone lying on the road, you just kick them. So that movement is not the movement what I say. This movement for living thing is the movement where it is produced energy. It is done by the produced energy by the living object itself. And then non-living objects, they are having no movement. So living objects, they can move, they can reproduce. Non-living objects, they cannot move of their own, they have no reproductive system. So if they increase, they have no growth, no development. If the non-living objects grow, they have the external deposition on them. And for the movement also, the non-living objects can move with the external applied force. A car is moving, but a car is moving by the burning of the fuel that has been put by the human beings, and thus it moves. While a human being or a small bird moves, it moves due to the energy produced inside its body in the protoplasm. So that is how it happens. Well, the types of objects of the living things. The living things we are divided into plants and animals. Well, before coming to that, I wanted to speak to you regarding the dead objects. Now, dead objects are who? Ones who were living. Now, you have some small wooden tool at your home, or the planks of the doors and windows. They are also made up by the planks. Now, where do the planks that have come? The planks are nothing but trees one time. And so, the trees were living one time. As the living properties completely stopped, so they become the dead objects. So, dead objects are objects who were once living. So, dead objects are objects who were once living. So, that is the actual dead object which comes from living. Non-living objects are non-living, they don't have the life from their being. Right now, we come to the two groups, the plants and the animals. So, in the plants, we get many plants are also there. And those plants are also categorized and divided into many groups. That when you will grow up, you will go in a broad classification, there will get the small sickle cell plants which cannot be seen through the naked eye, that can be seen through the microscope like bacteria. And then we have such animals also, they are very small and they are microscopic animals, there are also there. So in plants, there are flowering plants, bear flowers, non-flowering plants does not bear their flower. Flowering plant, mango, non-flowering plant, any fungi. The mushroom that you eat, the button mushroom or the agaricus, all those you eat. Alright, now we have the animals. In animals also, there are various kinds of animals and they are categorized as the fishes, reptiles, aves, birds and mammals. Okay, so that is how they are grouped. Well, all the things which occupies the space and has mass is known as the matter. Obviously, there is another more characteristic is there, one, which is known as perceived by the senses. What is the perceptions? It is nothing but the sense of touch. Right now, I can close my eyes, but even I can feel the air. And you know, children, air is a matter. So how can we say it is air? We can say because of the sense of touch. That is, can be perceived by the senses, can be realized by the senses. If you are saying quiet and if someone is blowing into your eye like that, so what? The air will come and stuck on your lip, I mean the eyelashes, and you will feel the air is there. So that is the other character. What is the characteristics of the matter then? Has mass, occupies space, and can be realized by the senses. Right? Okay. Now, there are several matter is there. Liquid matter, solid matter, gaseous matter, all there. The matter which comes to our daily use are known as the materials. They are known as the materials. The matter which comes to our use daily, they are known as the materials. Well, children, let us see. The materials, how are they classified? Classification of the materials are as follows. right? The first thing is that they have some special properties on which we classify them. Number one of that is appearance. So when you come to somebody, they look to your appearance. Like that, when the matter, that means a material, useful matter, which is material, which comes to you, you also look at its appearance and see what it is. That is called appearance. Number two, hardness or softness. You have been given a piece of stone, or else you have been given just a loaf of cotton. You press them, the loaf of cotton is soft, while the piece of stone is hard. So that is what? The hardness and the softness of the material. The hardness and the softness of the material is classified. Well, the third thing is solubility or insolubility in water. Water is the universal solvent, and it is a common liquid in which when an object is given to you, if you put them, some objects they are sparingly soluble. Soluble means quickly they make the solution. That's sparingly soluble. Some objects, if you stir them, they slowly and gradually they mix it. That is also solubility, like the sugar in water and salt in water. And some are insoluble ones. Papers, small stones, put it into the water in a glass figure or a glass, drinking glass of glass. Where you put and stir them, they will never dissolve. So, first group is known as the solubility, and the second one is the insolubility in water. So, some objects are soluble in water, some objects are insoluble in water. Alright? Okay. Then we have the heaviness or lightness in water. So, when we leave some objects in water, some objects sink because they are heavy. Why are they heavy? Because the density is more, and that is why they are heavy, and they sink. And on the other hand, the other objects they float like a piece of plank and all. Why are they float? Because they are less density than the water is. So that is called the heaviness or lightness in water. Next one is the object transparency, and opaqueness. The opaque objects are objects through which the light cannot pass at all. Suppose you are looking through and suddenly a piece of brick or stone or a very hard board is put inside your face. What will happen? You cannot see. Right now you see, you cannot see my face. Okay, so that is the opaque object. These parts are opaque. Light cannot pass through. That is why you cannot see me. Like that, we cannot see because of the opaque objects. Light cannot pass through them. Well, the second one is the translucent. Now, some objects are there through which light can partially come. Have you seen smoked glass? The glass which is having little bit of ash color light. The light goes through partially. Well, you can make a solution of barley. You know barley is available in the market. In a glass tumbler, you make a solution of barley. And you see the light will pass partially through that. So that is translucent object. On a paper, white paper, you put oil in it. So oil paper it will be. There also light will pass partially. So they are translucent objects. But some objects like clean plain water or a piece of clean glass, they are the transparent object. So we have the transparent object, translucent object and opaque object. What are they? They are transparent, translucent and opaque object. We have to discuss once more now. The materials are according to the appearance. With the appearance, they show shine and non-shine. Some objects are very shiny, some are dull. So that is how they are classified. The objects who are shiny are the gold, silver, tin. All those objects are very, very shiny and they have the shine. That is a characteristic of the material. Well, on the other hand, some objects which are non-shiny, dull, like coal, like a piece of stone, or some other objects like a piece of wood, or all those are non-shiny objects. So shiny objects are there, plenty of shiny objects are there. You can classify them at your home, which are shiny objects, which are non-shiny objects. In the shiny objects are there, one group comes, which are very useful, are those the metals. Metals, because the materials are divided into metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Now metals, non-metals and metalloids. So what did I say? The matter that comes into materials, and these materials are useful objects which comes as metals. Number 2, non-metals. And number 3, metalloids. So metals, non-metals and metalloids. Now you see the metals, the object which can make sound when they are drawn. That is known as, they are sonorous, that means producing sound. Number 2, their property, they are hard. They are malleable and ductile, that means the wire can be drawn from them. So it is called ductility. And sheet can be made by them, which is known as the malleability. So malleability and ductility. So hardness, malleability, ductility, sonorous, and the shine. Shine is known as the metallic luster. What is known as metallic luster? And that is how that is there. And on the other hand, the non-metals, they are dull, non-sonorous, they are not malleable and ductile. Instead, they are brittle. If you make them, beat them with something, hammer and all those, they will break. They will not go for sheet, neither they will be drawn for the waves. They will break into pieces. So they are brittle in structure. And so, non-metals are also they are non-shiny and they are non-sonorous. So like that. There is another object which are known as the metalloids. The metalloids are having some of the characteristics of the metals and some characteristics of the metalloids. So when you grow up, you will get these things to know. Well, we have so appearance and this study is done. So second is hardness and softness. Now my dear children, at your home or even in the surroundings, you get some objects which are soft and which are very hard. Like stone, a piece of wood, or a piece of iron, or something else, they are very hard. They are hard, and some objects like cotton, or sometimes a very soft cloth, or tissue paper. If it is soaked tissue paper, they are very soft. So that is softness and the hardness of the material. Well, we have the solubility. Now, solubility I explained to you, some objects they dissolve in water because water is the universal solvent. Though universal solvent meaning is different. Universal solvent means on the surface of the earth, whatever the matter is there, every matter is soluble in water. Are you thinking that sir is telling you right? No, my dear children, it is not. The water can dissolve any object on the surface of the earth, either thoroughly or in stress, but they are definitely soluble. So that is why water is known as the universal solvent. So it is known as the universal solvent. Whatsoever it is, like that, some objects which are apparently looks insoluble in water. A piece of iron, if you put it into a glass and just stir your glass so nicely and all, it will never dissolve. Because some stone pieces, iron or some other materials, a piece of wood also is not soluble in water. What I told about the universal solvent, do not mix it with it. It's a common thing what we get in our daily life. That means the insolubility. That means it's not dissolving in water. So, iron, a piece of stone or a piece of wood, it's not soluble in water. On the other hand, some objects which are very much soluble in water, there are also various types of solubilities there. Some object which you put into the water is sparingly soluble, like glucose. You know the powdered glucose which is found in a packet. You take one spoonful of glucose, give it to water and just stir it, will be no matter. It has already gone into the water and made a homogeneous mixture, so you cannot see it. The second thing is that you can take some sugar or salt and put it in a glass of water, and you see they will not be sparingly soluble. You have to stir them and slowly and gradually they will be completely soluble. So they are also soluble, sparingly soluble and considerably soluble. And some objects they are, okay, explained already, they are insoluble, they never soluble are there. Some liquids are also there like alcohol. If you put alcohol in water, they will be thoroughly soluble in it. Alright, so this is how it happens. So solubility is there for iron, it's insoluble object, and sugar is soluble object. Alcohol is soluble liquid, like that. Alright, now heaviness and lightness. Suppose you have observed taking some objects in a small puddle of water or nothing, if you don't have any puddle of water or pond and anything else, you have a big, what is called saucepan or something else at your home, or a big container, steel container, there you can just test it. Take some object which you just throw in the water and it will float, and some object it will sink. Now there is also some different properties are there. Some objects like plant or some other objects which can float. The other objects like stone, a piece of iron and all this, that they float. So out of this, some object which sinks, the density is heavier than the water, and that is why they sink. But in case of the floating objects, there are three types are there. One is completely floating, another is floating with the surface of the water, and another one is floating but little bit of dip in the water in a lower layer. There are different characteristics for that is there, because some of them removes the water when they are objects, so they can float nicely. Some of them remove the water, displace the water when they are immersed in the water, equal to their weight, so they are level with the water and float. And some of them little less water they have displaced, so they are floating by a little dip under the water. So that is how it happens. But the next one is that we have already discussed, the transparency, and the opaqueness of the objects. Now opaque objects are there like a piece of book. So you are looking to your friend straight away, and sometimes you see, oh, let us play something. How do you see, can you see my face putting the book in front of your eyes? Can you see that? No. Because light cannot pass through that object, that is the book. It is like that of a plank, a sheet of iron, or a heavy piece board. Through that light cannot pass and you cannot see. So that is called opaqueness. That means this opaque objects does not allow the light to go through them. On the other hand, sometimes you see, suppose you and your friend sitting in the study, your mummy or some people have come and have given 2 glasses of very translucent solution, which is called as sherbet, and it is very faint color, little bit of light comes through it. That is called translucency. Like a smoked glass. If you take a smoked glass, a cellophane paper, a oil paper, the light partially passes through that, and this is known as the translucency. And for that translucent objects allow the lights partially to pass through it. The third one is the transparency. Now pure drinking water glass, you see, you can see through it, so the light can go through it. A piece of clean glass, through it, the light can go through it. And these transparent glasses are put in the vehicles also. When they dry, they can see the road. So that is how translucent and opaque objects are classified. So, well, children, we have already gone through sorting materials into groups, the chapter, and we have come to know various things about it, and I hope you have already understood the chapter nicely. Now let us discuss the question answers, which we will discuss in the class. But one thing I must say, you can see all the question answers of your book has been solved and given in www.bsnes.in, where you can click to get this answers. Now let us discuss some of the answers here. Well, first is the very short answer or VSA. Question number 1. Name the two main groups into which all objects around us can be classified. The answer will be the living objects and non-living objects. And I have already explained to you living object and non-living objects. Out of the living objects, one object is subcategorized like are dead objects. What are the dead objects? Dead objects are objects which are once living, right? Okay. The second question is name the two groups in which all the living beings can be classified. That is the group of plants and the animals. Obviously there are very many subgroups are there for the plants and animals, and that has been given that plants and animals are there. So two main groups, plant and the animals. These are the two groups. Third question, name two naturally occurring materials and two man-made materials. My dear children, the naturally occurring materials are wool, by which you can make sweaters, shawl, etc. And the silk, which the saris and very nice kurtis and all those are made. And artificial man-made materials, the nylon, brass, etc. are there. So question number 4, we go for the question number 4. Name two materials having luster, that means shiny appearance. So they are gold and silver, they are shiny ones, and they are not shiny ones are also there. Question number 5, name two materials without luster. So without luster, these objects are wood and stone, a piece of wood or a stone that is having no shine at all. Question number 6, select those objects from the following which shine. Now, objects that shine are glass bowl, steel spoon, diamond ring, etc. Diamond ring, etc. Now we have question number 7, which is true and false. So question number 7A is true. So chalk dissolves in water. It is false. Question number 2B, 7B is false. Question number 7C, it is also false. 7D, it is also true. E is true. F is false. And question number D, sand settles down in water, and that is true. And next is vinegar dissolves in water. That is question number F, and F is false. And then G, stone is transparent object, that is also false. A piece of wood floats in water. G, on water, a notebook has luster. That is false. And number 8, stone is transparent, whereas glass is opaque. That is false. Well, question number 8, we have names of property in which the steel and sponge differ from each other. That is, steel is shining objects having luster, and sponge, that is soft, non-shiny objects. Question number 9, name one liquid which is miscible and another one is immiscible in water. So, miscible alcohol, non-miscible oil. Oil never mixes with the water. Let us see another question, which is question number 10. Name two gases which dissolve in water to some extent. So they are the oxygen and carbon dioxide. Well, number 11, which of the following liquids form a single layer on mixing? Water, kerosene, or water and glycerin. So the answer is water and glycerin. Number 12, state whether the kerosene and petrol form a single layer. So number 12, yes, they form a single layer. Well, question number 13, the objects are given, while you have to tell them. So number A, opaque, number B, transparent, number C, translucent. Number 14, name two objects made from the transparent materials. The glass vessel and eyeglass. They are made up of the transparent objects. Well, the question number 15 is name objects made up of opaque materials. That is a book, and a duster. Question number 16. Name two transparent liquids. One is water, the other one is alcohol. Now fill in the blanks. First one is immiscible. Number 2B, number 17B, it is miscible. And number C, it's an opaque object. So that is how it is discussed. Well, let us see the other questions are also there. There are some long questions are there which I am going to write on and then we will explain on the blackboard. Well children, here are the long answers to the questions, and out of which question number 31. What is the question says? Question number 31 is, what is the importance of oxygen gas dissolved in water, and how is carbon dioxide gas dissolved in water helps to the plants which live in water? Now, for the first part of the answer is like that. The dissolved oxygen helps aquatic plants and animals to respire because they cannot take the oxygen, cannot get the oxygen from the atmosphere. So they take the dissolved oxygen from water to do their respiration. Well, dissolved carbon dioxide is also important for the plants because of what? Because carbon dioxide is taken by the plants, dissolved carbon dioxide is taken by the immersed plant. There are three kinds of plants are there. The plants free floating, submerged and immersed. They can take the carbon dioxide, dissolved carbon dioxide from the water for their photosynthesis, because if the photosynthesis is not there, they will not live. So that is the answer of question number 31. We'll come to question number 32. In question number 32, it's question number 34. And then, what is meant by transparent material, translucent material, and opaque material? Give two examples of the transparent, translucent, and opaque materials. Well, children, we have like this. So, transparent means through which things can be seen easily. That is, the light passes through them easily, transparent. As for example of that, glass. That is transparent, glass and water, clean water. Well, second one is translucent, means through which the things cannot be seen, can be seen only partially. That is, light passes through them partially. As for example, cellophane paper and smoked glass. Smoked glass and solution of barley. Well, the third one is opaque. Means the opaque object means through which the light does not pass. The light cannot pass through them at all. So we cannot see the objects when there are opaque objects in front of us. That is, at all that the light cannot pass. As for example, book and sheet of iron. They are the examples of this. So, except of that, we have the answers of MCQ, and you can see the MCQ answers as follows, right? The MCQ starts from question number 37. Question number 37, the answer is B, algae. Question number 38, the answer is C, feather. Question number 39 is B, hydra. Question number 40 is C, iron. Question number 41, B, crane. Question number 42, A, cloud. Question number 43, B, air. Question number 44, A, ground glass. Question number 45, C, ice. Question number 46, wood. Question number 47, C, chalk powder. Question number 48, kerosene. The option is D. And question number 49, B, option is lead. And question number 50, the D. That is the answer of your MCQ. That is the answer of your MCQ. Well, till today, this is the lesson that we have already discussed. I hope you have already gone through the sorting materials and into groups has been nicely done. And I hope you will go through it nicely, study the chapter and follow the question answers. The question answers, some of them are discussed here, but the children, all the question answers of the exercise has been done, it's sent to you by www.bsnes.in. Thank you and have a good day.